Hello, my name is Duncan and welcome to Bath Books, or Back Away from the Donkey. And this is just a quick short video because I've just received my Times Literary Supplement from, would have been last week, so everything's running late at the moment. And there it is. And I thought, I've had a quick flick through, but not a big one. And I thought I'd just show you the immediate things that sort of perked my interest when I looked through it. I said, I don't know what the date of this is on, it is January the 6th one. So yeah, I said I normally get it on a Friday or Saturday, but obviously today I got it on the Monday, so it wasn't too bad considering. I'm just going to probably show you the things that leapt out to me, and as I said, I've only had a quick flick through. I've not really read it in depth. I just thought if anybody's interested about what is in this, you've got some letters page, and I think somebody's having what I always find is academics fighting in the letters is always quite funny. You know, a bit of a bun fight going on about George Orwell and Burma, and whether he decided to not go to Oxford or he couldn't afford to go to Oxford. And there's a letter saying that the book that he reviewed the other month, that in that book it was wrong saying that he'd couldn't afford to go to Oxford because he decided not to. And I don't know who's wrong or right, but when academics fight, it's always quite entertaining. There's another interesting book as a science fiction and science fan for me, is by Philip Hardy, called Celestial Aspiration, Classical Impulses in British Poetry and Art. And it's a book about how science and that affects art, which sounded quite interesting to me. You know, showing astronomy and how Newton that affected all the influences throughout art, which was quite interesting. I'm looking forward to actually reading the proper review of that. This one I read part of already, and I'm going to do, and it's about The Book of Mars by Stuart Clark. I'm not sure who Stuart Clark is off the top of my head, and it is a huge behemoth of a book. It's 896 pages. That is the review of it, and it is, as I said, it is about fact and fiction about Mars. And I think there's said here, last night when the clouds cleared for a brief spell, I opened the window, leant out and looked east. There above the roofs and the tower blocks, sailing over the cars and streetlights, was a winking red dot, a warm speck of orange light, shivering in the air among the bright, hard stars. Mars, the fourth rock from the sun, one of the 5 planets of the solar system visible to the naked eye, floats at the intersection between ancient and modern. It was known to the Egyptians as Adesha, to the Chinese as Huoxing, and the Babylonians as Nergal, and the ancient Greeks as Ares. And its looping progression across the zodiac was one of the first clues of the heavens were divided between the fixed stars and the wandering planets. It was Tycho Brahe's meticulous observations of Mars, made without the use of a telescope, and steered Johannes Kepler towards the laws of planetary motion and the measurements of the red planet's parallax that allow Jean-Denis Cassini to calculate the distance between Earth and the Sun. And this has got 500 articles all about Mars, some of it fiction, some of it proper science. It's got here, Stuart Clark's the science journalist, so that explains what it's called a little bit. And it goes to the ancient world from the Greeks' observations of Mars through to some fiction, and it's even got some Edgar Rice Burroughs in here, I think, if when I flick through there. It does compare the things like how Mars was used as metaphors for things, and got some C.S. Lewis in here. What else is there? Yeah, it's got a Princess of Mars in here as well, Edgar Rice Burroughs, which was more sort of about colonialism than it was really about Mars. But yeah, that could be an interesting book. It is £896 and costs you 896 pages, sorry, and would cost you about £30 to buy it. I wouldn't buy it from new, probably. I'd probably keep an eye out for it, unless I heard anything more about it. Then we've got around here. I said some of this I'm discovering as I'm reading because I only had a quick flip through. It's quite interesting. The Worst Sea on Earth. It's a story of Ernest Shackleton's endurance by the man who found her. And this is basically a adaptation. It's showing about Ernest Shackleton's trip to the Antarctic. If you don't know it, he went down to the Antarctic. The Endurance ship got trapped by ice and was crushed, and they went in small boats all the way across through the islands. It's the greatest survival story ever. What I find interesting is I have 2 books. I'm a bit obsessed with Shackleton's thing. I have, of my own, I just picked these off my shelf quickly. I have South, which is actually Shackleton's himself journal of what actually happened, and that's got a nice one. But I've got Alfred Lansing's Endurance, the greatest adventure story ever sold, which is a description of the journey, but it's also got the original photos. I'm trying to remember the name of the photographer, Frank Hurley. So it's got all his gorgeous photos in this book of that were taken, and it's a lovely book. I said I am a little bit obsessed with Shackleton's journey. But what's interesting is if you look at the cover on that picture there, I think that's one of Frank Hurley's pictures. It does look weird. It's almost on the cover of this new book. Got the same cover. But yeah, this one is about, I said, the person who found the boat afterwards. I don't tell me what year they found it, because I can't remember off the top of my head, because my memory's getting worse. Yeah, enter Ian Bowden, an experienced marine biologist. I don't know what year he found it. Yeah, it was quite recent, February 2022, so I might have to have a look out for that, because I find that interesting. And there's another book below this called May We Be Spared to Meet on Earth. Letters of Lost at the Franklin Arctic Expedition. I'm probably saying that. And that is some letters, and there was an explorer called Franklin who went to the Antarctic, and there's not much information about it, but I've read little bits, and this is a book on it of the final letters, which I might have to have a look out. So let's see what else is in the back of this. Anything else that's leaping out to me? So I sort of stopped at the bit about Shackleton's. Watch man read paper. That's what this video is going to turn into. Yeah, a bit about Trump. I'll ignore that because I can't be bothered with that. And there's some general reviews here, as it always has. "13 Ways to Smell a Tree" is a book called. A Celebration of Our Connection with Trees by David George Haskell. That sounds quite interesting. And anything else here? Spain. I think that's probably about it for stuff that immediately leaps at me. There'll probably be other stuff in there that's quite interesting. But yeah, so that was my TLS for this week. Or I've just faded everything out because I just had an intercom thing from my wife, and I don't want to edit the video, so if there's something weird going on there, that's what happened there. But anyway, I will speak to you all soon, and I'll thank you very much, and goodbye.